It's a nice day here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. We're going to be talking about killing Poa Annua in Bermuda grass. I have a bottle of Certainty here. The grass is starting to green up, as you can see if the camera focuses. I did some scalping recently to get rid of all the brown crowns in the lawn. It's going to be filling in here really nicely, cutting at 3/8 of an inch. Really excited for this season ahead. But again, I'm going to talk about Poa Annua or annual bluegrass. And I'm going to take you over to the side of my house where I actually have some, because I don't have any out here. Unfortunately, I don't have any weeds in my front lawn. But I do have some weeds on the side of my house that I kind of keep for videos like this where I don't treat. Let's go take a look at that. So I don't treat my side yard very much because it's very, very shaded. And so I rather have Poa Annua here, believe it or not, than bare dirt, which is kind of what we're dealing with. I could put down some ryegrass, and I do sometimes, but that burns out. But that's besides the fact. Right now, we got a whole bunch of Poa Annua, and if I wanted to kill this is exactly what I would use. So this bottle here is about $120. You can get it from domyown.com. You can get it from DIYpestcontrol.com. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it from eBay. eBay sometimes has some great prices on herbicides if you don't already know that. There's also a generic version for about $20 less. It's not that much more affordable, so I went with the brand name, but you could definitely go with the Certay, I believe is the brand, Sertay, and you can get a similar amount for a little bit cheaper. I'm not going to say much cheaper, but a little bit cheaper. And Certainty works good on a whole bunch of weeds, anything grassy. So there's more weeds than just Poa Annua in this mix right here. Right here, this is not Poa Annua. Oh no, there it is. That's not Poa Annua, but Certainty would kill that, although the root system on that is very shallow, so I would just pull that out and there's another one right there. But this also kills nutsedge. Some people will suggest using Negate 37WG, which is cheaper. I think you can get it maybe around $50. The thing about Negate, there's a few disadvantages to using Negate. First of all, if you have a large property, like if you're managing, I don't know, let's say you're managing a golf course or you have multiple acres on your property, Negate can make sense because per acre, it's actually cheaper. However, for a homeowner, let's say you have a lawn the size of mine, the mixing instructions, first of all, are much more complicated. You mix the Negate into a bottle, and then you use that bottle and mix that into your tank. And so there's like a double mixing strategy, and you have to use the whole bottle to mix the first mix and use that within so many days and whatnot. This, you don't have that situation. This is already a year old. It works great. I won't even go through this by 5 years. It will dilute a little bit in terms of efficacy, but for the most part, there's no rush to use this. Another reason that I recommend Certainty over Negate is because it handles more weeds. So for example, nutsedge. Nutsedge is not killed by Negate, but Certainty will kill. Basically, the only two weeds that I really get super often is nutsedge and Poa Annua, and Certainty kills both. So if you don't mind having lots of different chemicals for each different weed you come across, of course, you can go with Negate, and it's only going to last you the year. You can't partially mix it because it has multiple chemicals within it that need to be fully mixed perfectly. So you got to use the whole bottle, and you don't mind having different chemicals on it. The people that want to buy once, cry once, Certainty is your answer, and it's quite a small bottle. This does not take up much space. You have this, you have a couple of herbicides, that's all you need for a great lawn. Of course, you can have as many herbicides as I do. I don't recommend that. But for surfactants, you're going to want to pair this with a surfactant. And so you can grab a surfactant online for $10 or less. If you don't want to buy a surfactant, you can go with dish soap. Some people use baby shampoo as a surfactant. You have different options, and they're not super expensive. Certainty is normally paired with Celsius, but you don't need Celsius. For Poa Annua, you don't need that. You just need this. And I really urge you to use a post-emergent, because if you don't use a post-emergent and you let Poa Annua naturally die come summertime, it will drop those seed heads and you have a bigger problem next year. And like I said, Poa Annua is becoming more and more resistant to pre-emergence. So it's kind of a problem. So it's really a good idea to hit it early. If you get this on your lawn or somewhere desirable that, like I said, I don't really care about my side yard, but in terms of my front yard, if Poa Annua came up on my front yard tomorrow, I would hit it, within a week or so, whatever, with Certainty, kill that out before it drops the seed heads, and make sure that next year I don't have a bigger problem. So, of course, there are cheaper options for killing Poa Annua or annual bluegrass, like Image. It's not as effective, for sure, obviously, but that's kind of to be expected. You got a $20 bottle over here, and you got a $120 bottle here. Of course, this is going to be a little bit better. And again, the concentration, not only is this 10 times the size, but this is 10 times more powerful. So, or 10 times more results, even if they were equal size. And so you're looking at really, in terms of efficacy, like 100x more powerful over here. And you just, all you need for certainty is just a few grains of rice. It tells you the measurements, but you can see there, it's quite small. You don't use any. I've used this multiple times and the bottle's still full. And so splitting it with someone is definitely a good idea. Go to thebermudabible.com, click on forums or go in the groups, post, say your city or whatever, say what you're looking to buy, and someone will jump in and maybe split it with you. Maybe you can split it with 3 or 4 people, because you definitely don't need a full bottle. Anyways, that's how you kill annual bluegrass in Bermuda.